Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, coming at you with today's publishing tip for the day. Today's publishing tip, it's all semantics. Authors, writers, journalists, correspondents, what do you call them? Just read an article on the DBW website. It was actually a rebuttal by Jeff Greenfield and Jeremy Greenfield, and it was all about how he was taking umbrage with an article that was written by Michael Kozlowski entitled "Self-Publishers Should Not Be Called Authors." Now, Jeremy Greenfield's article was entitled "Why Self-Published Authors Should Call Themselves Anything They Want." Now, personally, I agree with Mr. Greenfield. If you're going to sit back and write a book and take the time and invest the time and the effort and, the cash reserves of money, then you know what? You can call yourself anything you want. And if you want to be known as a writer, if you want to be known as an author, if you want to be known as, who knows? And one of the instances I brought up was Ernest Hemingway during the Spanish Civil War and World War II was a correspondent, while also he had written novels. Now, was he an author? Was he a writer because he was doing articles? What was he? You know what? Who cares? He was whatever he wanted to call himself. He was the author, Ernest Hemingway. He was the correspondent, Ernest Hemingway. He was the writer, Ernest Hemingway. This seems to fall into the pattern of the traditional publishing establishment is starting to feel the heat from the fact that so many people are self-publishing and circumventing the entire publishing structure, that there is a lot of publishing being done with no money going into the big publishing houses' coffers. And how do you get away from that? By mentioning the fact that whoever's doing the writing or authoring of these titles is probably putting out subpar content. Well, that's kind of a skanky way to go. And I really think that people should stop with the name calling and what are they going to call? You know what? Stop it. Just stop it. They can call themselves whatever they want. Self-publishers, independent publishers, they are authors, they are writers, they are whatever they want to be. Because you know what? In the end, they will find a niche and they will get their word out to people who are going to want it and are going to buy it. And that is the bottom line. And it doesn't even have to be that they make a lot of money off of what they write. But the fact that they've actually written it and gotten it in print, they are authors. Now, I never heard that there was a financial line in the sand that you had to cross before you were known as an author. If you wrote a book, if you wrote a children's book, if you wrote a pop-up book, if you wrote a reference book, if you wrote a self-help book, you are an author. If you wrote a cookbook, you are an author. End of story. Don Schmidt wading into the controversial waters of who are authors, who are writers, who are editors, who are correspondents. You know what? If you write it, you can call yourself whatever you want. And that's the way it goes. Hey, you know what? The Rolling Stones call themselves the greatest rock and roll band in the world. And everyone started to pick up on that. And eventually it came to the point where everyone was like, hey, the Rolling Stones are the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Well, who started that? The Rolling Stones. So you know what? You call yourself whatever you want, and it sticks. Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, with today's publishing tip for the day. Be the author. Do what you want to do. Write it. Get it out there. Build your tribe. Feed your niche. Till the next time, bye-bye.